You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Back in the win column are the Denver Nuggets. Welcome on into tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Excuse me. Hope everybody is doing well out there. I should have got some water before the show started in case I start coughing. But man, what a game tonight for the Denver Nuggets as they take down the Memphis Grizzlies 122-110, their second consecutive game in a row against the Memphis Grizzlies. So they split those two games, losing the first one, but bouncing back to win the second one. And they looked like a much different team in this game. And we'll break that all down for you on tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Do me a favor, guys, like this video and smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. And for anybody watching live, appreciate y'all as always. Drop some comments. Let me know how you guys are feeling as the Denver Nuggets win a basketball game without Nikola Jokic. And there's a lot to unpack in this game tonight. Michael Malone tying Doug Moe for the franchise record for wins as head coach with 432. Russell Westbrook recording his 200th triple-double of his career. And then you've got Vlatko Čančar, unfortunately, leaving this game with injury. Hold on, I got a soda right next to me. Clear the throat real quick. Technical difficulty. All right, we're ready to go. Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, a lot to dive into tonight on the program. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you can do so at Media by AP. But like I said, drop some comments and let me know how you guys are feeling out there. And we'll start with the game. We'll kind of recap that. We'll sequence that. We'll sequence that, and then we'll end with some of the history that we saw tonight with both Russell Westbrook and Michael Malone. I know there's a lot of Michael Malone doubters out there, despite the fact that they won an NBA championship with him. So I definitely have some thoughts about Michael Malone. But beggars can't be choosers, but it felt a little unsatisfying. I would agree. It was a bit dicey there. And, I usually start putting together the background for the show and the thumbnail for the show on YouTube right around the 8-ish minute mark in the fourth quarter. And I had it all typed out. Denver was cruising in this game. They looked pretty good. The transition offense was there, the fast break points, the steals. They had that Nuggets identity that I feel like has been lacking from this team for a little while without Nikola Jokic being out there. And then the fourth quarter kind of rolls around like midway through, and it's like the offense goes stagnant. They let Memphis get some shots, right? A little sloppy there down the stretch. The offense, just gets a little discombobulated. I'm sitting here. I'm like, are they going to blow this game? Are they really going to do this right now after, coming all this way without Nikola Jokic in the game tonight? All you got to do is put Memphis away with no Ja Morant. I was thinking to myself, this would be a terrible loss if it ends up going that way. But thankfully, that is not the case as Denver ends up winning this game 122-110. And Denver shot the ball much better today, nearly 50% from the field. They were 48 for 99, so 48.5% compared to just Memphis. This game also felt a bit slow at times as Memphis offense I know they finished with 110, but they didn't even shoot 40% from the field tonight, did the Memphis Grizzlies, and they were even worse were the Grizzlies from beyond the arc as they were a mere 23% from three, 9 for 38, whereas Denver was 12 for 36 with a 33.3% three-point percentage there. But the two big stats for me that I think are pretty reflective of why this game was different, why this game kind of just played out the way that it did. I mean, Denver was up 25 points at one point in this game, was the tempo and the pace that Denver was able to install on offense throughout the course of the game. I mean, 28 fast break points here tonight. They had 15 steals on the evening as well. And those are two things that are indicative of Denver Nuggets basketball. And I see we got a comment here from Ken Russ with the 200th career triple-double. Absolutely. I'm going to spend some time on Russ and Michael Malone as it was a historic night for both of these guys a little bit later on in the program. I want to get the game, the big stuff out of the way here first. But like I said, I think that Denver was just much better at playing their style of basketball tonight. And, this is now the third consecutive game without Nikola Jokic. Seems like everything's okay. Michael Malone came out before the game and talked about how they haven't had any real updates from home base back here in Denver. And I don't want to speculate too much, but it sounds like it's a family situation, hopefully in a positive way for the Joker. Here's what I will say about that situation. If he doesn't play on Friday against Dallas, then it's like, what's going on? Hopefully everything's okay with Nikola Jokic and his family. Again, I know nothing, but this is 3 consecutive games without Nikola Jokic for what they're labeling as personal reasons. So we'll hopefully find out what those reasons are and hopefully get the Joker back in the lineup. But tonight, it was a pretty deep effort from Denver. You had a lot of different guys getting some run tonight. Trey Alexander had 9 minutes of run. Julian Strawther doing his thing off the bench. Russell Westbrook leading the way with 32 minutes played. That was more than starters Peyton Watson and Dario Saric as well. DeAndre Jordan getting some run tonight. Vlatko, as I mentioned, getting some run, although his night unfortunately got cut a little bit prematurely there with a knee injury. Zeke Naji got some run. But looking at the starters tonight, man, why don't we start with Russ when it comes to the start lines? All due respect. The 200th career triple-double for Russell Westbrook. He finishes with 12 points, 14 assists, and 10 rebounds. He was 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. And congratulations to Russell Westbrook. I'll dive into some Russ big picture thoughts here in just a moment because that's a guy that I grew up watching, back with the Oklahoma City Thunder. We've seen him kind of go through this awkward phase in the latter stages of his career, bouncing from team to team to team. I'm not even sure if I could think of every team off the top of my head. What is it? He went from OKC to Houston, and then was it Houston to Washington, and then a stop with the Lakers, and then a stop with the Clippers? If anybody else watching live wants to correct me, but I believe those are the 4 teams. I don't think I'm missing anyone off the top of my head. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section. But shout out to Russell Westbrook tonight, man. One of the all-time great players, and like I said, is really starting to find a bit of a defined identity, I would say, with this Denver Nuggets basketball team. And I think part of that has been because of the injuries. Like I know that he's a guard and Aaron Gordon's not. But Jamal Murray was out for a stretch there. Nikola Jokic not being out there the last few games, that's allowed him to kind of assert himself. Christian Brown's still a young player. So Russell Westbrook, I think, is really finding a nice groove with this Denver Nuggets basketball team, and he's rewarded with his efforts tonight for his 200th career triple-double. He was already the NBA leader in triple-doubles, but he gets to that milestone that nobody has been able to reach so far throughout their NBA career, and they've got it up on the screen right now. Russell Westbrook with 200 triple-doubles, followed by Oscar Robertson, who has 181, Magic Johnson with 138, and then just a couple behind Magic is Nikola Jokic with 136 triple-doubles. So, bearing anything crazy, Nikola Jokic would likely also pass Russell Westbrook at some point before his career is all said and done. But one of the more dynamic playmakers in NBA history, man. I mean, in his prime, just an absolute beast. You're talking about a former league MVP here who, one of my biggest takeaways from Media Day was how he really embraces kind of that mentorship type of role. Him and Peyton Watson go back a little bit, but you got a guy like Julian Strawther who's been getting into his ear a little bit. So Russell Westbrook is very understanding of where he's at in his career, I think is the word that I would use. He's not the same Russell Westbrook that he once was, but he still plays with that same fire, energy, and passion, which is exactly what this Denver Nuggets team needs, especially with them having a bank on a few young guys. I think Russell Westbrook is an excellent mentor to guys like I mentioned, Strawther, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown even as well. I know Brown's had more success at the NBA level than some of those other guys, but you want to talk about a guy that knows how to play hard and downhill and aggressive. I mean, that also fits Christian Brown's play style as well. So shout out to Russell Westbrook tonight, man. But, a lot of different guys making an impact. I mean, Dario Saric, man, he hit that 3 at the end of the fourth quarter with, what was it, about a minute and change left in the game. And that essentially put the nail in the coffin for the Memphis Grizzlies. And I was holding my breath like, oh my gosh, Dario Saric taking a 3. Like, this is exactly what Memphis wants. And Dario is rewarded for his efforts tonight as well. So good win, a game that Denver didn't necessarily have to have, but I do think that this goes a long way in kind of building up some of their confidence and hopefully generate some momentum for them moving forward, believing that, hey, just because the big fella isn't out there, we can still be a competitive team and win these basketball games. Now, it is worth noting, no Ja Morant tonight. Is this game a bit of a different outcome? Ja Morant didn't play in the first game either, and we saw how that ended up. But if Ja Morant plays in this game, what is Denver able to do to slow down this Minnesota or this Memphis offensive attack? Could be a different story, but that is not the story for today's program as the Denver Nuggets take down the Memphis Grizzlies 122-110. Denver improving to 8-5 on the season. Memphis falls to 8-7. But a historic night as the Denver Nuggets get Russell Westbrook career triple-double number 200 and career number win for Michael Malone 432. As he ties Doug Moe for the franchise record in wins as a head coach. But all right, let me hit my first break here real quick, folks. Go ahead and drop a couple comments if you got some thoughts or opinions on the game here tonight. Would love to hear from you. I'll come out of the break and I'll talk a little about Vlatko Čančar because that was an unfortunate injury. We don't really have the depth or the scope of the injury, rather, but hopefully he can be out maybe for hopefully it doesn't have to be out at all. Hopefully it's just he got a little banged up and they can move forward, but it was a bit of a scary situation there with Vlatko. So let me hit my first break. We'll come back and do just that right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Back in just a moment, folks. All right, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks. You might be wondering what Prize Picks is. Well, Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, guys. And it's an incredible place to, play some daily fantasy sports. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineup stays in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and does not return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. And guys, Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users today. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. And Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value to your lineup. So if you got in with Taco Tuesday today, congratulations. But guys, use that code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Download the Prize Picks app today, create an account, and let them know that Locked On Nuggets sent you. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Hope you guys are doing well out there on this Tuesday night, right around 9. Well, it is exactly actually 9 o'clock here in the Mile High City as I'm recording this show. And the Denver Nuggets get a 122-110 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies, snapping that 2-game losing skid and getting back on the right track here. So a lot to like from the game here tonight. We'll talk about Jamal and Michael Porter Jr. here in just a moment. But real quick, guys, today's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. But losing Vlatko Čančar in the middle of this game to the Denver Nuggets, and Vlatko was able to throw down a sick dunk, but a non-contact kind of landing on his knee, and he was immediately hobbled. And he didn't go down to the ground or anything like that. He was kind of able to walk off. I don't want to say if it was under his own power or not, but he had his coaching staff around him. He was hobbling a little bit, obviously favoring that leg versus the other. And I don't want to speculate, man, but this is a guy that missed all of last season with an ACL tear, and you just hope that it's not an aggravation of that injury. You hope that it's not another ACL type of situation. And look, I know that Vlatko hasn't got much run throughout the course of the season so far for the Denver Nuggets, but he's a guy that can contribute. And when he plays, when he's healthy and he's dialed in and playing alongside, with Nikola Jokic and the rest of these guys, man, he could be a real asset for this team. A team that's already down Deron Holmes, their rookie big man who's not able to play this year with a similar injury. And so you just hope the best for Vlatko tonight. He was pretty good in the 11 minutes that he played for Denver. 5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of them being defensive, was 2 of 3 from the field and 1 of 1 from 3 in those 11 minutes. So hopefully we get some positive news on the Vlatko front, but unfortunately, he does leave early with an injury. And just like I said, whenever it's a knee injury after you recover from an ACL tear and you're unable to kind of just get back after it, and you have to kind of leave the game, that it's a scary situation. And the Denver Nuggets are much better with having Vlatko off the bench. Like I said, I know that he hasn't played a ton so far this season, but he's a guy that can really make an impact with this team. It was officially diagnosed as a left knee sprain when he left the game tonight. So hopefully, like I said, we get some good news on the Vlatko Čančar front. But outside of that, man, I mean, I haven't even talked about Jamal and Michael Porter Jr. really yet at all. I mean, they stepped up tonight. They did their part. I know a lot of people have been critical about Jamal, myself included. He was at the UFC fights in New York at Madison Square Garden on, what was that, Saturday night late. And then, the Nuggets had the game the next day against the Grizzlies, which started at 4 p.m. local time. So not like you had like a nighttime ESPN game on Sunday or something like that, where it was an 8 p.m. tip. But he played well today, did Jamal. 10 of 20 from the field, so 50% from the field, 5 of 10 for 3, 50% from 3, 27 points, matches his jersey number here tonight, 6 assists, 3 steals, 4 rebounds, right? This is what you want to see out of Jamal Murray, specifically when Nikola Jokic is not out there. So that's a positive sign, and hopefully he continues to play better and be more consistent in a good way for the Denver Nuggets here moving forward. Michael Porter Jr. with 24 points tonight. He was 11 of 20 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, which is going to happen every now and again for Michael Porter Jr., but was able to make up for it with his rebounding. A double-double tonight for MPJ, 24 points, 10 boards, and he also added in 3 assists as well. So good stuff from the 2 of the 3 max contract players that were out there for the Denver Nuggets. And as I mentioned, they're going to need a lot more out of those 2 guys. Hopefully Jokic is back on Friday, but you need consistency out of MPJ and Jamal Murray if you want to be competitive this year in the NBA. And they did just that tonight, playing like max contract players in a game that Denver didn't quite have to have, but I think does a lot in regards to boosting their overall morale and belief in themselves when Nikola Jokic is not out there. But let me know your guys' opinions. Go ahead and drop some comments if you're watching live. Appreciate y'all as always. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. But what was your biggest takeaway from the game tonight? What do you want to see Denver improve on? What was your takeaway from Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and Russell Westbrook? Let me know in the comments. We'll go back and forth and have a good time here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. But Julian Strawther, not a huge scoring night for him, but he continues to get some significant minutes here off of the bench. 6 points for Straw. He's talking right now. Unfortunately, I can't hear him on the TV. Would love to. Who's he going to interview? Is he going to talk to Russell Westbrook about his triple-double? I got the TV. Oh, no, he's talking to Michael Porter Jr. So, Strawther makes a little bit of an impact here tonight. As I mentioned, the only 2 guys on the roster that did not play tonight were P.J. Hall and Hunter Tyson, which is not a surprise whichever way you slice it. But Trey Alexander gets some run. Strawther with 20 minutes. Russell Westbrook, as I said in the first segment, his 200th career triple-double as well. And Christian Brown, another guy. He led the team tonight in box plus minus. He's got to be the biggest positive outside of Nikola Jokic just being a monster with the Denver Nuggets this season is just how seamlessly and frankly how much maybe of an upgrade Christian Brown is in the Denver Nuggets starting lineup, right? I was one of those guys that, why are you letting KCP go? Why are you going to let you get outbid for KCP? And I understand that KCP has not been very good in Orlando. I think KCP would be much better with the Denver Nuggets, knowing you've got Nikola Jokic and the boys around you. But regardless of what I just said, Christian Brown has been really, really impressive for Denver in this limited sample size here out of the gate. But I don't think there's any reason to expect Christian Brown to slow down for the Denver Nuggets. Like I said, led the team tonight in box plus minus, 22 points, 22 in the box plus minus, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 7 of 12 from the field was Christian Brown, along with 5 from 6 from the free throw line. So he continues to make a big impact for this Denver Nuggets team, which you love to see, man. You really do. Because that was one of the biggest question marks for the Nuggets entering into this season is how would they replace some of the production from a guy like KCP. And while Christian Brown doesn't maybe have the consistency that KCP was able to bring to the table from three-point land, he's doing a good job of, just playing within this Denver Nuggets offense, taking good looks, getting to the basket, finishing through contact and playing good defense, which, is to the delight of Michael Malone. So all in all tonight, man, for the Denver Nuggets, a game that was a bit ugly at the end, but they get the job done. 122-110 your final score. And I like how Denver set the tone in this game. Memphis never had a lead in this game. Denver outscores them 31-24 in the first, 37-33 in the second. A bit of a lower scoring quarter in the third, but they still win that one 24-21. And then they end up Memphis with 2 more points in the fourth, 32-30. But all in all, it all adds up to a Denver Nuggets victory without the big fella. So you'll love to see that. But all right, let me hit my final break. When we come back, we'll go ahead and put a bow on the show. A couple of thoughts here on Michael Malone before we get you guys out of here on this Tuesday night. Stick with me back in just a moment right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. All right, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And guys, I say it every time I do the read, I'm an active FanDuel user. I'm a big, big fan of FanDuel. It's my personal favorite sportsbook. And if you're not signed up with FanDuel, I know it will become yours too. I think the FanDuel app is better for keeping up on games than ESPN or Bleacher Report. Their scores update quicker than anybody. If you like to bet spreads and totals like me, it's a great book for that. If you're into the parlays and the player props, it's a great book for that. So be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel, guys. And one more time, take advantage of their promotion. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Again, $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Check them out at FanDuel.com and let them know that Locked On Nuggets sent you. Okay, welcome on back in here to your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Aniello Piro. I'm seeing Michael Malone giving Russell Westbrook the defensive player of the game chain. He made a big impact in the game here tonight. All smiles for Russ. And how could you not be happy for Russell Westbrook, man, as he records his 200th career triple-double. But if you want to follow me on social media, you can do so at Media by AP. Also, make sure to like this video and subscribe to your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. That way you guys never miss an episode of your postcast. But guys, spent the first segment talking a little Russ, game in general. Last segment was about the game in general and Vlatko. Let's talk a little Michael Malone before we get out of here. A guy that has been loved, a guy that has been hated, a guy that has been, the array of emotions that I feel like Nuggets fans have had around Michael Malone in his tenure as Denver Nuggets head coach. It's a pretty wide net when it comes to that dynamic. And tonight, his 432nd career victory as head coach of the Denver Nuggets. You're talking about a guy that was fired by the Sacramento Kings, swooped right up by Tim Connelly and company, and has helped turn this team into one of the better teams in the NBA over the last 5 or 6 years, with the best player in the NBA in Nikola Jokic. Brought home the first championship in Denver Nuggets franchise history. And there was a comment on the show on Sunday night talking about, is it time for a coaching change? And I kind of shot that down. Michael, my prediction is, as long as Michael Malone wants to keep coaching, and I don't think that he will want to stop anytime soon, Malone will be Nikola Jokic's only coach in his NBA career. I think even if Calvin Booth wants to move on from Michael Malone at the end of this season because things don't shake out the right way or they keep butting heads, I think that if Jokic wants Malone there, he will stay there. That's how and again, this is not reporting. I don't have any sources on this. This is just gut feel. I think Nikola Jokic is extremely comfortable with Michael Malone. I think while maybe he can get on the nerves of some of the fans and some, other people out there, he's a good coach. He preaches, he practices what he preaches in the sense of the defensive intensity. He's been pretty consistent level-headed to a degree as a head coach, at least in regards to his consistency. We know he can get a bit hot-headed on the sideline sometimes, but congratulations tonight for Michael Malone for tying Doug Moe, and he's going to pass him, hopefully on Friday against Dallas, but to tie a franchise legend and Doug Moe, who is the head coach of all those incredible Denver Nuggets teams back in the day with English and, Fat Lever and all these other guys and whatnot. I think it speaks to the dedication that Malone has had, and going back to Tim Conley, to seeing this thing through. There's probably a couple of moments there after Malone's first few years where you're like, is this the right guy? Like, is this the guy that we want to go with for the long haul? And it's all paid off. Championship, 3 MVP seasons for Nikola. Jamal Murray playing like one of the best players in the NBA at times. Michael Porter Jr. blossoming in front of our eyes after being passed up by team after team after team because of his injuries. So Michael Malone, man, great head coach for the Nuggets, and congratulations to him for tying Doug Moe on the leaderboards tonight for most wins in Nuggets franchise history as a head coach. But I'll do a lot more Malone when he eventually ends up passing him, which hopefully will be at the end of this week as well. But before we get out of here, folks, once again, a 122-110 victory for the Denver Nuggets. And every member of the starting core tonight for Denver was a positive in the box plus minus, which is what we're accustomed to seeing. Dario Saric with 8 points. He was a plus 10. Peyton Watson plus 8 with 15 points. MPJ playing like he needs to, 24 points. Jamal Murray, 50% from the field and 50% from 3 for 27 points. And Christian Braun leading the team in the box plus minus at a plus 22 with his 19 points. Russell Westbrook, 200th career triple-double, and you love to see it for the Brody, man. Another guy that I'll say a couple things on Russ before we get out of here. I grew up watching him. Like I remember Kevin Durant with the Supersonics, for that 1 year. And, that Oklahoma City team of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden and then Serge Ibaka and Steven Adams, right? Those were some fun teams to watch growing up. And I was one of those guys that was a bit skeptical when Denver brought in Russell Westbrook of like, well, what's this guy going to do? Like, what is he at this point in his career? But I think he fits Michael Malone's culture. I think, we know that Nikola Jokic wanted him and the front office went out there and got him. And how cool is it that you have the triple-double king in Russell Westbrook and his, I don't want to say his apprentice, but the best player in basketball in basketball right now that will likely pass him and Nikola Jokic playing on the same team. It's a pretty cool moment. So shout out to Russ tonight as he gets career triple-double number 200. But Denver, 122-110, your final score as they take down the Memphis Grizzlies. A good night all around. They snap the 2-game losing skid, and now we'll have a couple of days off here before they get back to business on Friday or 19-20. Yep, on Friday against the Dallas Mavericks. That's an 8 p.m. tip-off on the 4-letter network. So you love to see that. But all right, guys. That is going to do it for me on tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets Postcast. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, watching, engaging, and do me that favor, guys. Make sure to like this video and smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets Postcast. But Denver gets the win, and all is well, as hopefully Nikola Jokic will return this Friday for when the Denver Nuggets take on the Dallas Mavericks. But that's it for me, folks. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll talk to you guys later this week on your Locked On Nuggets Postcast.